Good Morning Heartland.
Welcome back. It's now time for our entertainment segment, which means we're talking movies with Kit, and today we're reviewing 300: Rise of an Empire. So my first question is this part 2 of 300?
I guess you can kind of say that. This is an interesting take because it's not necessarily strictly a sequel. It's kind of like a before, during, and after sort of situation because basically what happens is they start off the movie and they kind of give you a brief 10-minute segment in terms of what happened prior to what happened at the Battle of Thermopylae with Leonidas and the Persians. And then the biggest chunk of the movie actually takes place almost simultaneously as the actual battle. So this kind of takes a different storyline. It goes with the, I guess, the perspective of the Greeks and Themistocles and his battle against the Navy, which was a huge part of the Battle of Thermopylae too. So then it actually, after that, it kind of goes to a little bit of the after sequence, but then little cliffhanger at the end. It's kind of leading us into a potential third movie.
Does it lose you at all with all of that background during and then after, or does it kind of just, does it have a nice flow to it?
It has a nice flow in that when you go to see a movie like 300: Rise of an Empire, you don't go for story. You don't go for dialogue. You
go for the action scenes and all that stuff.
And the action scenes are great.
Yeah?
They were great. And the interesting about this is the actual color palette. Just because in 300, I don't know if you saw it, but they had a really red, and that was like their only color. And then everything else was really grainy, really muted colors. But they really wanted to make the red be really, I guess, stand out.
Yeah.
But in Rise of an Empire, you have a lot more of a distinguished color palette. It makes it a lot more visually appealing because you have the blues, you have the greens, you have the reds, as always, and it makes it look a lot more visually appealing, like I said.
So who's this movie for? Everybody, like?
It's for the action fans out there. And me, myself, I'm an action fan. I love action movies, and like I said, you don't go to this movie expecting some crazy history lesson or some really intense, deep dialogue or crazy character development. You go for the action scenes.
Yeah, so if you're a big fan of 300, which I know there are a lot of people out there, they're excited for this next movie. So
exactly, and the one good thing about this too is, like I said, the action scenes are played out really well, but you don't get that sense of battle fatigue. So like in the first 300, you got that sense where there's so many action scenes back and forth that it get a little tiring. With Rise of Empire, they actually paced it a little bit better, and the action scenes were actually scripted out and acted out a lot better than I thought in the first one.
All right, dumb question here.
Sure, go for it.
All new cast members? Are there any reoccurring?
Primarily, there's some reoccurring. There's Lena Headey, who played the actual queen in the first movie. But she's pretty much the mainstay who kind of comes back. But you also have some people who make, I guess you can kind of say, cameos, I guess you can kind of say. But for the most part, the newer cast, with I think Sullivan Stapleton is the name of the lead, Eva Green, who plays an excellent villain. You wouldn't think it, but she is an awesome villain, really, really brutal. And then you also have, Lena Headey I already mentioned, but overall the cast is just great. Did a good job.
So out of 5 stars, what do you give it?
I'd give it 4 stars.
Okay,
4
not
stars.
Not bad at all.
Pretty decent movie, and like I said, it's scaled a little bit towards action movies. But for the most part, great action movie, great cinematography, and a better color palette than last time. That color in the first 300 really kind of disturbed me for a little bit.
All right.
But much better.
Well, thanks for that.
No problem.
And we'll be right back.